every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama Weathercast.
Good afternoon, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network and giving you your afternoon statewide forecast update. And looking at the satellite and radar, started off with a good bit of low cloud cover around good portions of the central and southern part of the state. Some of that started to sort of mix out at this point, but still some scattered clouds around in central Alabama. And you can see that we do have showers and thunderstorms beginning to form, especially up in the northeast corner of the state and in the southern part of the state. Some of these look like they're forming off of basically Sand Mountain and Lookout Mountain, with a little bit of orographic lifting up there, so the terrain helping to induce those. But then down towards the south, as we've had this boundary slip further towards the south today, we've got some showers and thunderstorms firing off in southern parts of the state. So again, most places still pretty dry at this point, but definitely warm again like we've been here recently. So taking a quick radar tour, looking at a closer look at the showers and thunderstorms in the northeastern part of the state. Looks like a lot of it focused near Gadsden and Reese City at this point in Etowah County. So along the I-59 corridor here, quite a bit of rain and lightning as well. Had a few showers move through Center and Cedar Bluff earlier. Now a few approaching Jacksonville, and then also down in Cleburne County, you've got a few there close to US 78 near Heflin, and also near Interstate 20 as well. So some heavy thunderstorms, but no warnings with any of those at this point. Same thing goes for the scattered showers and storms, or fairly widespread showers and storms in the southern part of the state. So moving from parts of Escambia County near Bruton, moving over towards the east into areas near Andalusia and Opp and Covington County, and also a few down here in Geneva County as well, and a few moving into Coffee and Dale. So pretty decent coverage of showers and thunderstorms in the southern and southeastern part of the state. But again, nothing warned currently. And then down closer to the coast, got a storm that's formed up north of Mobile, kind of in the Delta area near Creola at this point. A few scattered showers elsewhere, but not a whole lot more other than that main storm there north of the bay. So taking a look around the Skycam network, Russellville looking nice. We've got some scattered cumulus clouds and blue skies. The temperature's at 80 degrees, and so definitely not as warm as it's been in North Alabama in the last couple of days. This was actually the camera we caught a lightning strike on last night, which was pretty cool. And then looking across further down towards the south, Mount Cheaha, beautiful view from atop the peak there, looking towards looks like a developing thunderstorm off in the distance here. A little bit of haze there towards the ground, 77 degrees, so not even reaching 80 degrees there on top of the mountain. And Dozier, seeing showers and thunderstorms in the area. So earlier it was looking at a rain shaft. It looks like that storm's now moved right on top of the camera. So again, temperatures now dropping into the 70s as rain has begun to fall in Dozier. All right, and Point Clear, beautiful as typically is the case with this camera, looking out towards the bay and having plenty of clouds in the sky, or scattered clouds in the sky, but just some blue skies as well, and a nice looking day there. Definitely warmer at 88 degrees. So what we're watching for the rest of the day today and through the rest of this weekend and the weekend, highs in the upper 80s, again, especially up in the northern part of the state. We'll see more of the 90s, low 90s and mid 90s in some spots in the southern part of the state. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, again, mostly in the southern, kind of northeastern corner, not as much in the northwestern part of the state. And then big story for next week is dry air arrives with a cold front as we get into Monday. So that's going to feel really nice for late August. But temperatures right now, again, still pretty warm, but not as hot as yesterday in most spots. It's 89 in Birmingham, 86 in Selma. Have reached 91 degrees in Geneva and also in Mobile. So there are some places hitting 91 or hitting into the 90s, but also some places like Huntsville only at 82 degrees. Heat index values, a couple places in the triple digits. Selma, which is typically one of the more humid places that we've been seeing, 102 degrees is what it feels like there. Feels like 101 in Geneva and 100 in Mobile, but most places have backed down a little bit compared to the heat that was happening yesterday before the storms really got going. Now looking at our Futurecast, showing some showers and thunderstorms kind of in some of the places that we're seeing right now, not seeing as much as what the model's predicting in some areas near central Alabama, but general idea decent. And as we get through the rest of the afternoon, again, scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly to the southern part of the state, along the eastern and northeastern part of the state, and could see some more develop in the central part of the state as well, for sure. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities. And as we get into tomorrow afternoon, again, more widespread rain and thunderstorms in the south, more isolated in nature as you move further to the north. And as we get into the weekend, we'll see the coverage maybe even out a little bit more across the state, where you've got sort of scattered, isolated showers and thunderstorms over most of the state, maybe a little bit more widespread and a little bit heavier down in the southeastern corner of the state. Now, looking at the forecast wind gusts for today, kind of like we saw yesterday. You can see a few of these little bullseyes here, little rings that are surrounding these forecast thunderstorms. So again, there is the opportunity for any of these stronger storms that do form today to have some downbursts that could create some gusty winds, could also knock down a few trees. We saw a good bit of that in some of the stronger storms yesterday afternoon. So still some potential of that, especially in southern Alabama today, but I don't expect it as maybe quite as much as we saw yesterday. We're keeping our eyes on the tropics, of course, this time of year. Hurricane Aaron is still close enough to the coast that's making pretty major impacts with a good bit of storm surge, heavy surf, rip currents along the East Coast, especially in parts of the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Thankfully, moving off to the northeast at 18 miles per hour. Winds are still sustained at 100 miles per hour as of the 1 p.m. advisory, but we expect it'll continue to move off to the northeast and slowly weaken as it heads off in that direction into the cooler waters. But it still would be a pretty potent storm as it moves off towards the northeast for a little bit longer, but thankfully moving away so that it will not be impacting the East Coast any longer. Now we're going to continue to keep our eye out into the Atlantic, past Aaron, obviously. We've got this red area here, which is a 70% chance of development for this wave here that's north of South America, near the Lesser Antilles at this point. Good thing is we're expecting that to curve away from land and not impact the U.S., just like Hurricane Aaron, or at least, it being a similar track. Hurricane Aaron actually did have some impacts, obviously, but not expecting as much of an impact with this. And the next one in the line here, we're expecting to reach into some not as favorable conditions, and so expecting it to not necessarily develop as much, 40% chance though, for the next 7 days, and a 30% chance for this little disturbance here in the central Atlantic. So again, the main story though is that over the next week to 10 days, we don't expect any sort of impact from tropical development here in Alabama. But one thing that will be impactful, or at least a nice thing to see, will be the temperature outlook for next week. So again, any time of year you can show all these blue colors for the temperature outlook. We're expecting lower than normal temperatures. It's nice to see that. Again, most of the state in fairly well below normal temperature range as we get into next week with that cold front coming through. We'll talk about that in the 7-day forecast here. We're going to see, again, upper 80s in North Alabama, maybe getting into the lower 90s tomorrow. So it should see an increase of rain chances a little bit on Saturday, but look at those temperatures and the rain chances as we get into early next week. So highs maybe only in the low 80s, lows down into the low 60s, possibly even upper 50s in some of the cooler spots. And then we look at South Alabama, again, maybe around 90 degrees or so for the highs, some of a little bit higher than that. Rain chances on the increase as we get into the weekend. Again, temperatures lowering for the most part, and especially those morning lows will get a little bit lower than normal as you have a little bit of drier air filtering into the area and kind of a fall preview in store. All right, that is your Alabama forecast. We'll have another one coming up in a few hours.